Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Pints and Quarts, the half-hour beer industry news show from Craft Beer Nation. The regular panel is assembled. Wonder Twins unite or something. I'm not exactly sure how that reference goes in there, but we've got Gil Mello, we've got Doug Nolan, Ashley Bauer, and myself, Matt Miller, and we are joined tonight. I guess I should start to slow myself down and find my center, because we have a yogi with us tonight, and a nutrition expert and a cool woman all around. Her name is Shelah Davis, and she is from South Florida, and she is an author, a yoga master, yogi extraordinaire, yoga zen something or other, and a nutritionist, and all those kind of fun things. So we are going to talk with Shelah. Shelah, how are you?
I'm doing very well, actually. A few computer glitches, but I'm good.
Well, good. Well, computers aren't part of the yoga, so maybe it's it's working your stresses out and those kind of things. So
yeah, my chakras must not have been aligned properly when I was trying to get in here earlier.
Well, we do have the inside track with Shelah here. We are, besides being friends with her directly, we are also honored to have her husband Jeff as one of the moderators with us with Craft Beer Nation. So there is an inside track. If you recognize the last name Davis, it's because you see Jeff around in some of our other hangouts. But he's not here because he's not cool like she is, and we want to talk about yoga, and we want to talk about how perfect the beer environment and how the people that are into craft beer are also into yoga. So it seems to have found a nice niche for you in South Florida. So tell us a little bit about your program, what you call it, how you came up with it, and how it's going.
Well, it's Om Brew Yoga, and I would love to say we came up with the idea, but we were vacationing in South Carolina, I guess about 2 years ago. And in the Charleston area, there's another yoga studio that's doing the same program, Bendy Brewskis, hey, if they're watching. But we saw their poster up in Holy City, I think is where we were at the time. I thought it was an awesome idea because I love yoga, and my husband loves to brew beer, and we both love to drink beer. So the whole entire drive home from Charleston, we were on the smartphones in the car trying to see if anyone else was doing it in Florida, and at the time there was nobody that had kind of blended yoga and beer. So we started reaching out to the breweries that were opening up down here, and everything just sort of snowballed in a very good, happy, pleasant, fun way.
So this is a yoga training or yoga practice that people come and they pay a few bucks and they spend some time with you and practice yoga, and then they walk out the door, or they walk out to somewhere in the brew pub area, or maybe even in with the fermentation kettles, fermentation chambers, and then they finish that and they go out and have a beer. So this seems like a pretty nice couple of hours.
Well, we thought that the two blended very nicely together. There are people that have given us a lot of flack about it that don't think that it should go together. I always just respond to those things. Craft beer and the craft beer industry, it's very passionate and very artistic the way that people are brewing these beers now. And craft beer, most of the time, is considered what I would consider as a nutritionist a whole food. We have the 4 basic ingredients, and then you add in some extra fruits and whatnot, nuts, whatever you want to add into it. So you can't get much more pure than that, as far as I'm concerned. And then, the creativity involved with the beer brewing, I just think it melds very well together.
Well, good. And there, another part of wellness and yoga and that kind of stuff is fitness and nutrition. And Shelah has written a book.
Which I don't even have sitting here to hold up for you.
Oh yeah, you are so well prepared. You're so as well prepared as I am. But but the book is available on Amazon. What's it called?
I Got This.
I Got This, right? And she has a unique approach to fitness and nutrition, and the thing that I admire most about it is there is a chapter dedicated to explaining how you can do all this and enjoy craft beer. And
yes, I think it's chapter 9 in the book, actually.
Perhaps it's the infamous chapter 9, yes.
The infamous chapter 9, where you party like a rock star. And, craft beer has a lot of misconceptions, and people think that beer is bad for you. And I argue that point, I think, quite nicely in chapter 9 of my book. But basically, just getting back to the whole moderation is key. I absolutely do not promote that people go out and chug beers. We don't do that with craft beer anyway, but moderation is key, and I don't think there's anything wrong with an hour-long yoga practice and then going out and enjoying a craft beer or two after the practice. So.
Yeah. So it has as much to do with the 3 bags of Cheetos and 4 pounds of wings that you eat along with your beer consumption.
No, we don't eat that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's where your real trouble comes in. So enjoying a pint or two, all things in moderation, right? So I guess that's life's catch. But Gil?
I'm curious though, who do you think it's not a good pairing? The yoga people or the beer people?
Oh, it's definitely the yoga people, and I don't hesitate to say that on air. We've had several instructors that have private messaged me, emailed me, and said that they don't get it, they don't understand, that they think that I'm making a mockery of the yoga community and things like that. But for every one of those people, we have hundreds that are very supportive about what we're doing. With the Om Brew program, one of the things that was a very big element for me is that I wanted to make yoga attainable for everyone. I wanted to put it in a place that people wouldn't feel quite so tense about stepping into. We get a lot of guys that come in and try yoga for the very first time through this program. We get a number of people that have never done yoga before, and they come to the breweries to practice because it's fun. We've taken one of the elements that usually makes it very hesitant for people to try yoga for the first time. We've just taken that out of there by where we're practicing at. So, and I teach in a way that's a little different.
So are you a yoga evangelist? Would you say that?
A yoga evangelist, I guess technically I could be considered that. I personally have gone through a journey myself, dropped a lot of weight, had some health issues that I got over through yoga and running and changing my diet, no medications, none of that. I talk about that in the book. But, I really, as I was progressing through my journey to health, I ran into a lot of crap. I'm trying to be good, not curse. I told Matt I would try to be a good girl, but I ran into a lot of crap. I was heavier, like over 100 pounds heavier than I am now, setting foot in a studio, trying to enjoy the benefits of yoga. And I was the fat girl that was hiding in the corner. I would skate out as soon as yoga was over. I wasn't interacting with the teacher. And in turn, the teachers weren't really offering me a lot because I was that big girl in class. And I was the outcast. So one of the things that I do with Om Brew is I try to make a personal connection with everybody on the floor. I go around and try to make sure that they have positive reinforcement through the class. I offer tons of modifications. So, if somebody comes to me and they've had back surgery or they're heavier and have beer bellies, which we see all the time, we do a lot of different modifications for people so that they can be comfortable and enjoy the practice. We crack jokes while we're leading the practice, We keep the floor safe, but we want everyone to have fun and laugh as well.
Well, that's really interesting. What are the breweries that you've got an active program going with now?
We started at Funky Buddha last September, so it's been almost a year that we've been there. We're there twice a month on Sundays each month. We're at Miami Brewing Schnebly Winery, which is down here in Homestead. We're there on a Friday night, and then we do a Sunday. And then we're at Wynwood Brewing as well on a Sunday each month. We'd been practicing also at the Homebrew Supply. I always tell people that the guy that runs the place is the nicest guy in the craft beer industry because he really just is a good guy. But we were doing classes at his place as well. And as the breweries open up, we just touch base with them, tell them, hey, we can make it happen if you want to make it happen. And it's just been really well received through the craft beer industry down here anyway. Based on the growth in the articles that we see in Yoga Journal and all over the internet now, it seems like the concept's growing everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it does sound like that. It sounds like you've got a good head start on everything else. Are you looking to grow that program more? But it seems like you're pretty well busy with what you've got.
We're not busy, Matt. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, as people approach us, to come into the different venues. I want to keep it growing as much as I can. I am a single instructor. I haven't convinced my husband to get certified to teach yet. I figure with enough beer in the system, some night I can get him to sign his life away and do that maybe, so we can expand out. But part of, I think, the charm and the draw for us is that we're family run. And we keep it very personal. My two daughters run our registration for us and do the photos during the events. My husband is on the mat every single session that we have. He's not missed an Om Brew session yet. And anyone that has seen him knows how inspiring he can be, watching him get bendy. But we just try to keep it very personal. So I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to teach as much as I can. I love the program. We have a heck of a lot of fun. So wherever the road takes us, we're going to go.
You're also taking personal nutrition clients and that kind of stuff on one-on-one basis too?
Yes, we're still doing that. I have 2 more books in the works. I'm getting ready to start my radio show back up on Blog Talk Radio the end of September. So we're definitely busy.
Well, good. And anybody who's watching or listening can find out all that information about Shelah Davis at ShelahDavis.com. And you have to know how to spell Sheila. It's ShelahDavis.com, because I have known her for a few years now and continuously misspell that name. So Shelah, there's an extra H in there. So that's ShelahDavis.com. Find out about her. Find out about the Om Brew program. If you're in South Florida, it sounds like it's at a brewery somewhere every week. So go to her website, find out where they're at. And I think I don't know if this is your hashtag or if it's everybody's hashtag, but I always see your posts have hashtag Let's Get Bendy. So you'll be able to find their events by going to Twitter or Facebook and looking for that hashtag.
Yeah, that's actually Jeffrey's hashtag.
Oh, okay, well, he's your biggest cheerleader, so.
Yes, he is.
He definitely is. So, all right, well, that's fantastic. Thanks for spending some time with us. Hang out here now with us. We're going to talk a few minutes about some of the news from the week, and feel free to chime in and kick some thoughts around it if you have any on the stories as well.
Awesome.
We've done a lot of talking about cans because I'm a big proponent. I love beer in cans. I think it's absolutely perfectly not light struck, and I think it's a great way to to bring beer to the home without spoiling, or with less spoiling, better aging. But Gil found Nimbus Beer says something else.
Well, I was very surprised when one of the people that I sign on a different social network, Facebook, I saw a post from Nimbus Brewery, and the owner is claiming that he gets a lot of questions why they don't go can or when they're gonna go can, and he's was a little upset with all these questions, so he decided to make an official post on Facebook, and it was a very surprising answer. He ends his post saying, "Avoid cans." So I think I've been a fan of cans, and I like beers on cans, and I get a lot of us do, but we try not to think about the consequences. And I think his concern is kind of valid, or I should say, it is valid, about bisphenol A or BPA's, and he's saying that his brewery is not gonna go into cans at all ever if it's up to him. He says he's read studies that has backed up the whole acidic things on the hops in the beer that really kill the lines on the beer and expose BPA's to drinking. I don't know what you guys thinking.
So he's saying that the hop oils and the acidity in the beer is breaking down the lining in the can and releasing BPA's into the beer that we can see.
Yeah, the National Academy of Sciences, which is the study that he cites there, actually did a study, and they list a bunch of canned food that produce acids. And in beer, because it has malts and hops, which malts has some acidity to it, but hops is very bitter, and bitterness normally, not always, but it's normally related to acids. expose the BPAs, and people drinking beer off of cans are just filling themselves with BPAs. He goes on and he talks about lobbying and kind of how this whole thing of pushing the industry is pushing to hiding all those searches and trying to make the BPA not a serious thing, and he's very concerned. He says his beers are not, as I said, they're not gonna go into cans, and he's not stopping there. He calls craft beer in cans a trendy thing, and
All right.
as I said, he ends saying avoid cans at all costs or something like that.
All right. Well, I'm anxious to. I might have to do a little more reading on this. If you're watching or listening, find us on craftbeernation.org or on the Google Plus thing, and give us your insights as well. I'm gonna have to get a little more knowledgeable about the science there. I know BPAs are dangerous, but I wonder about what levels we're really being exposed to here. I don't know. I'm anxious. I definitely want to know some more. But there's someone who's coming out and saying cans are bad. So the next thing we wanted to talk about was a little bit about with Ashley here. We wanted to talk about she's doing some brewing thing with the Pink Boot Society, or with a brewery that's going to benefit the Pink Boot Society. Is that right, Ash?
Yeah, this Saturday we have an all-ladies homebrew competition at Unknown Brewing Company in Charlotte. There's going to be 9 lady brewers, and it's a People's Choice competition. So people will be able to pay $10 at the door, get in, get a sampler cup, and sample all of our beers. And in the process, vote for who they think's best. And all proceeds go to the Pink Boot Society. North Carolina started their chapter, I guess, a few months ago out of Raleigh, and the Brewers Association there in North Carolina. And so this will go towards the scholarship fund of Pink Boot Society.
So Unknown Brewing in Charlotte.
That's right.
And what did you brew for this, or is that going to give away too much?
No, I brewed an ordinary bitter, 3.2% alcohol, very simple. But I figured everybody else is going to be doing something crazy, and maybe it would stand out just because of how simple it was.
Yeah. Have you had it yet? What do you think? Did it come out with the way you wanted it?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, all right. Well, good luck with that. And it sounds like the Pink Boots is going to win either way. So
exactly.
It'd be nice for Ashley to come home. They probably have like a 6-foot trophy. It's probably a pretty big deal. So it'd be great for you to bring the trophy home. But Pink Boots is a great organization, and I'm glad that there are these kind of fundraisers going on for them there. I realized as we started this actually that we talked all about Om Brew, but we didn't. You're doing some yoga there in South Carolina as well too, right? She said that's where she got the idea from.
Exactly. We went down to visit Sheila and Jeff earlier this year, and saw the places that they did their yoga. And I don't know anything about yoga. I've taken now about 8 classes, so I'm getting there. But the last 4 were in the past 3 weeks. So I'm learning. And my friend Jean, she is a yoga instructor. She sometimes substitutes at the local recreation center, and she's taught her own classes at other places too. She said she's doing something like a 200-hour certification. I know beer certifications. I don't know yoga certifications. But it sounds awesome. And we started it about 4 weeks ago now. We meet up every Sunday from 12 to 1 p.m. at Conquest, and she teaches us a class. And at the end of the class, we do some kind of chill down session that she has a fancy name for. I don't know. That sounds great.
Shavasana. It's actually corpse pose. You lay on your mat, and it's supposed to be the hardest pose in yoga. When you start doing yoga in the breweries, though, it gets a little easier because people are usually kind of relaxed, chilled, and on the verge anyway.
Yeah, and she gives us these little towels that she soaked in hops and lavender.
Oh, so very cool.
Yeah, it's neat. It ties in the whole beer thing, and it's very relaxing. So until the air pressure thing goes off during the middle of it really loudly. But it's awesome. Yeah. We're going to keep doing it every week, and we even have, interestingly enough, this hot dog vendor who has been kind enough to provide vegetarian hot dogs for those of us who are vegetarian.
We have a guy down here that we just about a month ago, that is all vegan and vegetarian hot dogs as well. And he's at he comes to Wynwood and Funky Buddha with us most of the time, so it's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
So the vegetarian hot dogs are vegetable log. Vegetarian hot dog sounds better than a vegetable log, I think.
Yeah. No, they're really good.
Veggie log. Yeah.
They're really good. One a week is not bad at all. I totally support that. Having a vegetarian option, I will support that all day long.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of hot dogs, so I'd be interested in trying the vegetarian hot dog. It obviously.
I just wonder why they don't call something else. Why they use beef food names like veggie burger?
Well, so people can have an expectation of what they're getting.
Yeah. It's a veggie sandwich, but like the hot dog, it looks like a hot dog. Believe me, it's not any kind of imitation.
Yeah, I had Frankie's Dogs is the cart that comes for us, but he did my first chili cheese dog in 7 years, I guess. And I told him after I took the first bite, I'm like, oh my God, I love you almost as much as I love my husband. Because it was really good, you know. When you're not plant-based and then you go plant-based, you miss stuff like that. So yeah, it was really good.
Fantastic. All right, so we're learning about yoga, veggie dogs, and good beer. Really, probably the last thing on news we want to cover is I saw an article this week. I can't remember where. I guess Beer Pulse is where I find almost all my news. But Ballantine. I don't know if probably none of us other than me are old enough to remember Ballantine, but it's a brewery out in New Jersey that brewed an IPA, the original U.S. IPA, United States IPA, I guess, and they sponsored a lot of baseball things back in the old days, and they haven't made this beer, I guess, in about 30 years because the American tastes went to the light lagers or the pilsners, the American pilsners, and Pabst has bought the brand and is now bringing back here in September Ballantines IPA, and I've read a little bit about it, and it's kind of interesting because the brewer wants to do it right, and he interviewed people there was no recipe for this beer, so he interviewed people that that could remember how it tasted, and he tried to brew to their expectations. There's something in the process where I don't know how it does, but there's oak aging in the fermentation process, so it's kind of an interesting thing. But if you remember Ballantine, or you can at least picture the logos, or if you had pictures of baseball from the 50s and 60s that had Ballantine banners and signs in the background, look out for Ballantine's IPA. I hope they do it right.
Who's brewing them?
Pabst. Pabst.
Pabst's going to try it.
Yeah, Pabst owns the brand. I don't know exactly if they're going to brew it in a New Jersey facility or where they're brewing it from, but it's going to be on shelves here soon, and I'm certainly going to give it a try. So do
you, I mean, on the line, do you think that a lot of those big brewers are going to try to go into IPAs and alternative beers because this growth of
without a doubt. Without a doubt. It does make me a little nervous because the amount of hops that go into making an IPA, the more breweries, the larger the breweries get that are brewing them, the scarcer and more expensive those hops are going to get. And the little guy coming into it isn't going to be able to afford to brew an IPA.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to get into it. I mean, a brewery that size, I'm wondering how the demand is going to be.
Yeah, well,
for an IPA.
Yeah, well, and I guess they'll start small for sure, but it'll be interesting to see. How they bring that out. I see. Trying to remember one of the other breweries. It's tied up with a Red Hook. It's got a pumpkin beer that they're releasing nationwide. Yep. So how about that? There's a brewery from the Northwest that's going to release a new beer nationwide. Instead of trying it out in their market, they're just going to dump it on America because.
Didn't they do some kind of dark pumpkin beer last year?
Well, this is a pumpkin porter, so maybe they're just maybe it is just coming out.
And it had like a red label. Reddish color.
I can't remember, but coming from Red Hook, it wouldn't surprise me.
Where are they out of?
They're out of Washington or Oregon. I don't know, Pacific Northwest. But they're owned by Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah, they had that last year. I remember seeing it.
All right, that's our 30 minutes. Oh man, we almost forgot the review of the week. There's this guy Mark Sanderson, and he has reviewed Old Chub Nitro, and Old Chub is my favorite of the Scotch ales. Oh, it's a canned beer, so everybody, the Nimbus guys can hold their fingers up in a cross formation. But But his name is Mark Sinderson. He's in Google Plus, so you can look for his name, Sinderson, Sinderson. But he's just a big fan of the Scotch ale. He's a big fan of Oscar Blues, and he does a really interesting BJCP-ish scoring, and he gives us a 40 out of 50. But and the taste, his Oscar Blues Old Chub Nitro doesn't disappoint in the flavor department. It has all of the stuff like a Scotch ale, slightly sweet malt backed up with some smoke and complemented with a little spice, dark fruit, and molasses. The Nitro adds a nice level of creaminess to the beer. So Nitro really just bring that mouthfeel up a notch. So that's kind of exciting. But watch for come to the community and watch for our reshare of Mark's review here, and his website is marksinderson.com. So he's got a blog there where he put up some beer reviews. So interesting stuff, great picture, and man, that's just one of my absolute favorite beers. So
they did. I didn't think the Old Chub could get better, but the whole Nitro thing.
Yeah. The first time I had that beer, I've actually only had one can, and it just blew me away at how good that beer is.
And they're actually, I thought it was just a quick release, but now they're scaling up and they're going to release those 16.4 ounce cans nationwide. So you'll have more opportunities to buy it.
Yeah, recently it started hitting the shelves here.
Yeah.
In the last couple of months.
And they're making in Virginia, right?
They're making in Brevard, North Carolina.
Brevard, North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
it's about 30, 40 minutes south of Nashville.
Yes. Oh, it's that far north of Nashville? All right.
South.
South?
Yeah.
All right. North of
Southeast.
Nashville. Yeah. All right. Well, other. I'm sorry. Somebody I stepped on. Who was talking?
No, you're fine. I was just saying it's not a bad drive when you have a designated driver.
Ah.
The drive is never bad when you have a designated driver.
Yeah, I'll go anywhere with a designated driver. The couple of new releases coming out here. Sierra Nevada Boulevard collaboration as a 2014 edition of Terra Incognita Strong Ale. There's no wild yeast, but it's a 9.8% beer. Firestone Walker's got their Barrel Work series. They've got an Agrestic Wild Ale coming out. Agrestic. I don't know. Hopefully that's not a typo.
Agrestic. Yeah.
Agrestic. Dogfish Head is releasing something tonight. A collaboration with Guided by Voice. So
no, it's Guided by Voice is the name. I think is a group of music. Is that their musical series? They do a musical series on their different releases.
Okay, Beer 1000 collaboration.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds interesting. Dogfish, they don't usually disappoint with their collaborations either. Stone's got a new Enjoy By coming out, the 9/20, September 20th. That is going to hit 4 states. It's coming to California, Ohio, Maryland, and North Carolina. So if you're in those markets, watch for that. That never disappoints either. And from the festivals coming up here this weekend, we've got Boulder Craft Beer Festival. That's in Boulder on the 23rd. And as we said last week, it may or may not involve Wonderland Brewing. We're not sure, but they might be going there. Here's a Brew at the Zoo and Wine 2 in Louisville, Kentucky. That's the 23rd. The Great Nebraska Beer Fest in Papillion, Nebraska.
Papillon.
Papillon. All right.
Papillon.
I've just offended everybody that lives in that town, but Gil got it right.
All 10 of them.
All 19 of them. Yeah, they're that's on the 23rd as well. The Virginia Craft Brewers Festival, which is affectionately known as the Devil's Backbone Festival, but it's at the Devil's Backbone brew pub restaurant in Roseland, Virginia. I am actually not going to make it to that, Doug. Are you going to that one, Doug?
No, I'm not able to.
Yeah, I keep wanting to go. Apparently, it's a big deal. It's like $65 tickets to get in, and there are just a lot of beer there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like an hour and a half up the road.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Durham Beer Festival in Durham, North Carolina is the 27th and 30th. That's the following weekend. Also that weekend is going to be Taste of Petaluma, California. That's on the 28th. And then the Orange County Brouhaha in Oak Canyon Park, Orange County, California, and that is September 6th. So that's way out there, but somebody asked us to mention that one, so we'll leave that one on the schedule and mention that one every week. But I love Brouhahas, so if you're in Orange County, don't miss that one.
Hey, we've got a big one down here in South Florida, too, Labor Day weekend, which is, I guess, the 29th, 30th, and 31st, which we're going to. I'm very excited, but we'll be all down at the Key West Brew Fest, so We'll make sure to think of all of you while we're way down in Key West spending
Key
Labor Day
West
weekends.
beer
Yeah.
festival.
Yeah.
It's
More
a
about
fun.
life.
Is it
Yeah, I
is it
know.
outside though? Outside in
It's-
Key West in August is kind of rough, isn't it?
It's outside right on the water.
Yeah.
You guys feel really bad for us, don't you?
I hope you get dizzy looking at the the floor.
Well,
We'll
good.
take
Well,
lots of pictures.
that might, yeah, no, we ought to. We're gonna try and get some press credentials here at Craft Beer Nation. That might be one of those. We definitely need to get to the Key West Brew Fest. So.
That's a fun one. Tons
Yeah.
and tons of debauchery in Key West.
And that's just any given day. Now you're gonna just pour beer down their throats. So.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. Well, good. If you have any brew festivals you want to get mentioned, find Craft Beer Nation at Google Plus or Facebook or Twitter or all those kind of places. And thanks again to Sheila Davis at ShelahDavis.com for coming and talking yoga and craft beer and all the other kind of fun things. Find her book, buy her book. It's actually kind of cool and it's a quick read. So, and she's writing 2 more, so you want to get in early in the series so you understand all the jokes in the later books too. So I will say Sheila has been very well composed this last half hour. Her writing style and her humor is a little more irreverent, and she's kept it kid safe for us for 30 minutes. So we'll go off the air and she can just explode in profanity because she's been saving it all up. But no,
Yes, I have.
but that's our show for this week. Tune in next week. We'll have another guest. We'll have another 30 minutes of craft beer news. Until then, find some good friends. Open a few good beers from a can, preferably. And mind your P's and Q's.